The sun is coming up, are you ready to go?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making German potatoes, and this is a recipe that my mom made for us growing up. I don't know if it's authentic, to be honest, but I think it's delicious. What makes these German potatoes really good is they are served warm, and you use apple cider vinegar and sugar and bacon to make like this delicious sauce that gets mixed in with the potatoes and bacon, and it is seriously so amazing. Me and Jason love it. Even the kids will eat it, so definitely give this recipe a try. The written recipe will be down below in the description, so make sure you check that out on my blog. And also, don't forget to subscribe so you see my future videos, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is to peel and chop up some potatoes. I'm just using regular potatoes here. I would say they're about a medium-sized potato. Obviously, if you're using bigger ones, you're gonna want a fewer amount of potatoes. If you're using smaller ones, you're going to need a few more. So I'm going to peel them, cut them up into small pieces, put them in some water in a pot, and put them on the stove to begin boiling. If it's a bigger, like size medium one, then I'm cutting it up into 8 pieces on each side, so 16 pieces per potato. But if it's a smaller one, then I'm cutting it into 6 pieces per side, so that's 12 pieces per potato. In general, you do want each piece to be roughly about the same size so that they cook evenly when they're boiling in the water. Because if you have some really large pieces and some really small pieces, obviously the large pieces will take longer to cook than the smaller pieces. And then you may have some pieces that are a little bit more firm, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to add a tablespoon of salt to the water and put them on the stove on high and let them boil. Next, I'm going to take a half an onion. I usually always cook with sweet onions because I like to be able to use them in salads and then cook with them as well. I like to chop the onion up really small, so sometimes I'll just throw it in the food processor right here. It's just a little mini one, and it'll chop it up into really little pieces. You can definitely just use a knife to chop it up, and it'll take some time. And then we're gonna go ahead and chop the bacon next. I like to chop the onion first before the bacon, just because then I can use the same cutting board because the raw bacon hasn't touched the cutting board yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the onion done, and then we'll chop up the bacon next. The onions are done, so I'm just gonna go ahead and chop up my bacon really quick. I'm gonna just use this tiny little pot to cook them in, and then I'll add the onions after they're completely cooked. I really like using my kitchen shears. Now these come apart and they can get washed in the dishwasher. I really like to use them to chop up the bacon. I just really want small pieces for this. And this is a half a pound of bacon, and that is gonna give it a lot of bacon flavor. I have made this with using less than that, and it's totally fine. But if you want like a really good bacon flavor, use about a half a pound. Our bacon is cooking on like a medium-high heat right now, and I'm just gonna give it time to brown up and get really crispy. Okay, as you can see, the bacon is starting to crisp up, but I'm definitely going to wait until it's very crispy. If I do it too early, then when I start to add the sauce and the potatoes, and it just softens it so much. And so I really like the bacon to be very crispy before I add the onions in. While the bacon is beginning to cook, it's a great time to mix up the sauce that's going to go in it. And this is a half a cup of apple cider vinegar, a third of a cup of water, and just a 1/4 teaspoon of white sugar. And then I also added 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch so that when it heats up, it'll thicken up really nicely. You can see that our bacon has cooked completely. It is pretty crispy looking. I'm gonna go ahead and add the onions to this. I am keeping all of this grease in here. I'm keeping because it's gonna coat the potatoes and it's gonna add a lot of extra flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and add the onion into this, cook it up for just a couple minutes until they soften, and then we'll add the sauce. These onions are going to cook up really fast in this baking grease. I've turned it down to medium temperature on my stove, and so just keep an eye on these because you don't want them to burn. Our onions are nice and softened. They are fully cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and add our mixture that we have here. This is the water, apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of sugar and cornstarch. As soon as this thickens up, it'll be ready to toss onto the potatoes. It looks like our sauce here has thickened up really nicely. So we're gonna go ahead and add it to the potatoes. The potatoes have been drained. They're nice and soft. So I'm gonna go ahead and add our mixture here, our sauce, and mix that all around. All right, so that looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of black pepper, and I am gonna taste it and see if it needs salt. So I have my potatoes here. I should have gotten more bacon. I think my piece only has 1 bacon, so I probably should have been a little pickier about grabbing some out of the pot. But anyways, it looks really good. It smells really good. I'm gonna try it. It's just cooling off a little bit. Remember, the bacon has a lot of salt in it, and we did salt the water as well, so you do wanna try it before adding more salt, but obviously potatoes need a lot of salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. It's really, really good. I do think it needs a little bit of salt, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that, and then our potatoes will be ready. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you'll give this recipe a try, and don't forget to subscribe to see my future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.